down, please. Your task. You are the President of the United States of America in the mid-1800s. What issues or reforms do you see as being the most important in our country? How do you propose the government help solve these social problems? Okay? So, your speech must have the following in the beginning or your introduction. You must tell your audience what you are going to do. Introduce the issue clearly and state your position. Have a grabber to introduce your topic. So this is something where, again, when we watched President Obama's State of the Union the other day, when we viewed that, he went and introduced issues that were going on, right? Well, first of all, the first thing he did was welcomed everyone. And then he talked about his idea of what the State of the Union was, meaning the issues that he presented, okay? And then at the end, or towards the end, he started to state his ideas on how to fix these issues. So in the beginning, you're just going to basically introduce what the problems are, why they're problems, and then you'll get into the meat of it in the middle, okay? In the middle part, or the body of it, you are going to give 3 facts or reasons that support your stance of the issue. So if you say that slavery, Isabella, if you say that slavery is your issue that you want to focus on, give me 1 fact right off the top of the bat why slavery is important to you. Anyone? Yes, Chris.
It's unethical.
It's what?
Unethical.
Unethical. Okay, so you're going to have to support that statement. You cannot just say it's unethical without supporting it. Okay? Give me another.
Another
Reason, yeah, for why the need to abolish slavery. If that's what you're saying. Yes.
There's harsh treatment against slaves.
Harsh treatment of slaves. Can you support that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay? So that's what you're doing in this middle part. You're stating your facts, at least 3 of them, and then you have to support them. Now, when I say support them, you can use your textbook as 1 resource, okay? Only 1 resource or 1 fact. Then I want you to actually look online, use an encyclopedia, or any other resource for your information. And you have to cite it. So you have to tell me where you got this information from. So if I want to go back and check to see if this is, reputable, I can do that. I will tell you right now, you cannot use Wikipedia. That is not reputable. Okay, you can go in and change that at any time. Anyone can do that. So you cannot use that. Okay. Any questions so far? Good. All right. Your conclusion. You are to tell your audience, basically restate what you have told them and why it's important. You're just basically summarizing your facts and closing out your State of the Union. Okay. And leave us with something. A lot of State of the Unions are known by like 1 or 2 lines that the president states, something of like, that wraps up the entire State of the Union address. Okay, so leave us with something memorable. All right, turn the page. Okay, so this is your rubric, how this is going to be scored. You can see on the very top, you have a rating of 10 points for something excellent, 9 points for something good, 8 points for something satisfactory, and 7 points for something that needs improvement. You have an introduction. Okay, again, introduction gets attention of the audience, clearly defines or states the goal, states your position. And I'm only going to read from the 10 points because that's what I expect. Body. 3 or more facts are used. The facts are clear, they're well supported, and all are documented, meaning all are sourced, so cited. Okay, so again, you have to tell me, where are you getting this information? All right? Conclusion. It reviews your position. It brings a closure that is memorable. Eye contact. You are filming this, or some of you may actually be presenting it to the class. Okay? Notice when President Obama was giving his State of the Union, the one that we watched, he was very direct with his eye contact. He was looking right at the camera at times, and then he was looking right at people. Okay? Just like I'm doing with some of you. I'm not going like this and looking off into the sky. I'm not, looking at the ground. I'm addressing you, the people, the American people, Congress as well. All right? So that's eye contact. Use of language. Is your use of language effective? Do you pause at certain points to emphasize certain facts? Okay? Notice even when he wasn't getting an applause, right? He would stop at certain points. That's important because he's emphasizing something that's important. That's something that great orators do. They know how to speak. It's not just saying words. It's stopping at certain points. It's changing your tone. Okay? Speaking with more passion. Okay? Body language. Are you just sitting there like this with no emotion, no body language? You've ever seen any politician speak, they're always gesturing with their hands, right? And they're always giving that, I call it the Bill Clinton, the little half thumbs up kind of thing. It's just like, America, you know, this is beautiful kind of thing. And they're always gesturing with their hands. They don't just sit here like this, okay? It's not like that, all right? So are you using body language? Do you speak with clarity? Do you mispronounce words? Are you pausing to say, okay? You should almost memorize your part of the speech. It shouldn't be that difficult. You should only look back a couple times for reference. No, like outside of class, at home, whatever. Yes.
So if you do record it, so you would have to look at the camera the whole time if you don't have an audience?
If you don't have an audience, yeah. I mean, you can look away like you're addressing Congress, like, you know, like there's people watching you. You could do that. Yes.
Can you like edit the video to add like sound effects like applause and stuff?
Absolutely.
Probably should.
If you want to highlight certain points that are important and put a sound effect in there, that'd be actually really cool. All right, let me finish and then I'll take some more questions. All right. Let's see. Where did I stop? Clarity. So, the last one. Topic is specific and adopted to the audience. So again, who are you speaking to? Know your audience. Who are you trying to get to buy into your point? Yes, you're speaking to Congress, but you're also speaking to who?
The people.
American people, okay? So you should understand that. Argument demonstrates a clear understanding of the potential audience and anticipates counter arguments. So for instance, let's say we were talking about slavery, okay? And that was your point, and you sit here and say slaves are treated harshly. That was your point, right? You said that? Slaves are treated harshly, okay? What would be a counter argument for someone who supports slavery? Yes?
It makes the economy better.
It makes the economy better. How could you address that? How could you counter their point? Yes, sir.
You could say that there are other ways to boost the economy without forcing people to work under harsh treatment.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay? Understand? All right. So your time, like I said, you have 3 to 5 minutes for this. If you do it within that time frame, I'm thinking it's probably going to be closer to 5 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you are within that time frame, you'll get 10 points. If you're short of that time frame by 10%, 9 points, so on and so forth. Any questions?
No.
Straightforward?
Let's do it.
Good?
Yes.
All right. I'll give you the rest of the time to do questions.
Screws got caught in machines, they were underpaid and weren't taken seriously. Some were in the temperance movement because they were often abused. There was no education, they were excluded from constitutional convention, they didn't have the right to vote, they formed the Seneca Falls Convention, no seats, refused women's license to practice law.
Excellent. Great job.
Fellow citizens of the Senate and House of Representatives, throughout the year, since our last meeting, the country has been eminently prosperous in all its material interests. The general health has been excellent, our harvests have been abundant, and plenty smiles throughout the lot. Our commerce and manufacturers have been prosecuted with energy and industry, and have yielded fair and ample returns. In short, no nation in the tide of time has ever presented a spectacle of greater material prosperity than we have done until within a very recent period.
Why is it then that discontent now so extensively prevails and the union of the states, which is the source of all these blessings, is threatened with destruction? The long-continued and intemperate interference of the northern people with the question of slavery in the southern states has at length produced its natural effects. The different sections of the Union are now arrayed against each other, and the time has arrived, so much dreaded by the father of his country, when hostile geographical parties have been formed. President James Buchanan.
Fellow Americans, men, women, children, people of government, everyone. I am addressing every single American, and every person in the world for that matter, at this very moment. In the 1860 State of the Union Address, President James Buchanan addressed the nation of the United States of America. He addressed the impending problem of slavery. He addressed our nation's relations with other countries. He addressed the perpetually occurring economic problems. He addressed the fear of the Union splitting apart. President Buchanan also addressed how far America has come during the time of his presidency. One thing that he did not ever address, no matter how much noise we were making in the world, was women's rights and our struggles to get where we are today. Now, in 1870, 10 years after President Buchanan's speech, we are here today to address the things that he did not address, the things that he did not think important enough to address.
In 1848, 12 years before Buchanan's speech, the first Women's Rights Convention was held in Seneca Falls, New York. 2 years later, the first National Women's Rights Convention was held in Worcester, Massachusetts, to more than 1,000 people, men and women alike. Last year, Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton formed the National Women's Suffrage Association. Lucy Stone, Henry Blackwell, and others formed the American Women's Suffrage Association last year as well. And finally, possibly the most important development in the fight for women's rights, the Territory of Wyoming passed the first women's suffrage law. This year, women have begun to serve in juries in the Wyoming Territory, and this is only the beginning. We are nowhere near the end of this issue.
Some of the problems surrounding this issue are extremely simple and utterly ridiculous. The matter of women being unable to wear pants, to work in the factories, and running the risk of their skirts or dresses being caught in machines is important. This problem is more important than it sounds. The people of the United States, more specifically the men, need to realize that we, as women, need to be able to wear whatever we need to wear so that we can do the tasks that we need to do to keep our society afloat.
Another important issue that is as widespread as the skirt issue, if not more, is the fact that women are unable to gain an education or get a profession that requires schooling. 5 years ago, when the Civil War ended with General E. Lee surrendering his army to McLean House, women were expected to go back to their everyday lives, cooking and cleaning for their families. Did not women serve in the Civil War as well? We helped wounded soldiers and acted as their doctors while the men were fighting their war. A war that was started by the majority of men, may I add. We as women have proved time and time again that we are capable of taking care of ourselves and others. Women should be able to become doctors and lawyers. Women should be able to hold places in government like men can. Women should be able to get an education so we can do these things. It is so important to our nation's advance. Without the help of women, we cannot advance as a country at the speed that we would like to. It is the right thing to do, and extremely important. Like I stated before, women are not often represented in government. Furthermore, women are not respected or taken seriously, which is appalling in my opinion. Women are mistreated and abused. We are ridiculed and treated as inferiors. Women are just as smart as men. We are capable of everything men can do. We just need the chance to prove that we are capable.
I'm not in any way saying that we're never respected in government. Look at the wonderful abolitionists who have helped our cause along the way. Alexander Hamilton is just one example. His wife, Elizabeth Schuyler, or Eliza, and her sister, Angelica, are other examples. The Schuyler sisters had more reason than most to fight. Alexander Hamilton had an affair behind Eliza's back, and Angelica had been long forced into a loveless marriage where the prime focus was money and status. And yes, even though Alexander Hamilton committed an awful act, he still fought for our cause. Men and women alike believe in the fight for women's rights, but anyone can believe in it. It is the fighting for it part that seems to make it unimportant and unworthy to many people. Many simple-minded abolitionists have turned away from our cause, Northerners and Southerners alike. Northern abolitionists who supported the abolition of slavery have stopped fighting for what is right after the 13th Amendment was added to the Constitution. Many people saw the fight for slavery as a way to earn money and votes in government. Those same people see no reason fit to help us.
In conclusion, more than half the world is made up of women. That is a lot of people. With the help of men, the other half of the world, we as women can gain the same rights. But our place in society stops this from happening. We need men's help as well, not just women's. We need to fight for what is right. We need to stand up and make our enemies listen. Whether our enemies be men or women, we have enemies on both sides of the spectrum, and that will most likely never change. But we can try to change it. That is all that matters. And finally, women deserve to be able to divorce someone who is abusing them. Women deserve to be able to own property and keep their wages after marriage. Women deserve an education. Women do so much for our society. Women raise children who have the power to become important in our world. Women influence these children. If this generation does not listen to the cries and pleas of the suffragettes, maybe the next generation will. We deserve that much. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.